Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the channel. My name is Akram Shaban, and I hope you guys are doing great. Just been, of course, it's running with the family here, and got a lot of stuff to deal with. Life. Things going on, especially as we see. There's a lot of changes in just life. Cost of living. So we've been, I've been taking care of a lot of things and business wise and helping out my cousins scale up, the channels. And, we're just trying to help each other out here and trying to always going to always push some new news for you guys and more efficiently and keep you guys up to date every time. So let's get started here. We have, of course, where's XRP? Okay, XRP is at 54 cents. Our crypto is going up a little bit here. And we have Stellar at 9 cents. And Hedera is at 5 cents. So pretty good stuff. Hedera is going up right now really, really well as well. All right, speaking of some news here, America decided to be the bad boy again, just like history repeats itself. So it looks like this is by the BRICS. U.S. President Joe Biden issues warning to Iran. Any attempt to kill Donald Trump would be an act of war. Now, of course, America does all the time. They always fabricate and blame other countries for certain scenarios, and when literally the ones who are making the scenarios themselves is America itself. I mean, we were seeing Trump as Trump killers and assassinators are funded from BlackRock. So it's not a coincidence. So now they're fabricating a narrative to assassinate Trump themselves and frame it on Iran to go to war. Here we go again, World War III. And just like what happened to 9/11, and especially blaming, I think, Afghanistan for having weapons of mass destruction, and it all came out to be a lie. You know how America is, trying to be the evil, the bad boy here, the bully. All right, so Black Swan Capitalist Versan here said, it's very possible that XRP holders are holding the banks hostage, which could explain why they're using the SEC to stall Ripple's progress and delay XRP adoption in the US. With a failing monetary system, banks need the XRP to stabilize, so they're trying to shake us out. So yeah, as you guys can see, this whole lawsuit is all bullshit, and I'm kind of like fed up with this whole thing. I know a lot of people who are especially watching, they just wanna have all this thrown back behind us and just experience the new bull run that is upon us. So yeah, this is only news. Of course, major banks like HSBC, JP Morgan, and Bank of America have all faced massive money laundering scandals overshadowing any wrongdoing in the crypto space. Ripple CEO Brad Garlinghouse joined the criticism, accusing the U.S. government of stifling the crypto industry through regulation by enforcement. So it's all fucking bullshit. But yeah, that is happening. I had this out. Canary Capital files S1 with SEC for Canary XRP ETF. So this is one right here. SEC, United States Securities and Exchange Commission, Washington D.C. Canary XRP ETF. Oh, let me just zoom in a little bit here. Exact name for registrant as specified in its charter. You guys can see ETF. You see, I don't like ETFs because it invites corruption into the crypto space, and of course for digital asset. So I don't know. We'll see how things will play out. All right, this is by subjective views. XRP community, and any day now, Ripple will launch their stablecoin, RLUSD stablecoin, that will start to soak up the $2.3 trillion M0 circulating around the world. Speaker Yam Ki-chan, Circle Asia Pacific. Take a listen.
Yes, and let me maybe break down a couple areas. First of all, we're still in very, very early days, right? We're sort of at the dial-up stage, moving towards broadband days of the internet for Web3. There are still many merchants, institutions, and users that don't yet have a Web3 wallet to even interact in that space, in this space. And I think that will get better. So we're still in the early days. So that's number one. So the market dynamics are not set. It's like saying, when you look at the internet, there's only AOL and Mindspring. Like, if for those of who are from the US that were or CompuServe, like those are the two or three, and that there will be no other internet service providers, and that's actually not the case, and it moves and changes very, very quickly. So that's the first piece. The second piece is it's important to put stablecoins and proper stablecoin, like tokenized cash, in the context of what it is, which is the dollars in the world, especially dollars in the world. There's $2.3 trillion circulating in the world. Much of that that's in cash, right? These are $100 bills in circulation, and
M0.
yeah, M0, and essentially it makes sense for some of these to be in digital form, and it makes sense for these to be movable on a immutable ledger, and that's really the opportunity set to think about. And if you were to add up the stable coins in dollar at the moment, we're at 160, 170 billion. That is barely a rounding error, right? In the $2.3 trillion worth of dollars in the world. So what that means is that A, is early days, and B, we should expect lots of different companies that are trying to come into and innovate in this space. And we are seeing that. Almost every other week, there's somebody launching a dollar-backed stablecoin or dollar-pegged stablecoin. Whether they're dollar-backed or not, it's a whole other question.
Right.
But I think everyone wants to figure out, like, how do you move money in the right way? So I think that's to be expected. So that's one. And the second thing is, it's important to separate tokenized cash stablecoins versus tokenized deposits, because again, back to what you referred to, there is fractionalization in deposits that is not the same, at least in the way that USDC is structured. And the counterparty for that are banks, and whether you can use these outside the banking network is still, I think, quite limited at the moment due to a number of reasons. So I think it's important that there'll be innovation in the payments and in currency space, but like what they are, I think is still early.
All right, you guys hear that right? I always say when it comes to new technology, the first people who accept brand new technology is criminals, and next is the public. But come on, all governments are criminals, so of course they're going to double down on this new technology. They're going to adopt this technology and find a way to, of course, control us financially by turning our crypto money off and have financial slavery upon us. So we'll see how things play out. But yeah, there's a lot of according to what he said, there's a lot of banks and companies are adopting the new technology, Ripple, and of course it's Ripple USD stablecoin. So there's also a lot of things here that needs to be said, and also I'm gonna cover something. Just stay tuned about other companies really actually accepting these innovations, these crypto innovations, and of course eventually using XRP stablecoin, RLUSD. All right, moving on. Verson had this: keep an eye on SHX, Stronghold token built on the Stellar network, backed by Ripple. A major investor, SHX, has also been endorsed by the IMF and World Bank. With focus on clean energy and sustainable transactions, I would say SHX represents a solid investment opportunity. Now, of course, even the creator and the person who the COO and the CEO of Stellar also made SHX. I think so, and I've also covered it on my previous videos, if you can guys watch it as well. But yeah, even the one who made Stellar, of course, built on went and built SHX as well. So not a surprise. There's a lot of complementing each other. These type of technologies like Ripple, Stellar, SHX, Hedera, HBAR. Of course, other tokens, especially XDC, they all complement each other, and there's no competitiveness between them. They're all in one hand. They're trying to work things out, especially what we see Ripple and Swift. There's no competition here. They're actually complementing each other and working together. This is how society or business or anything that is financially related, like companies and such, innovation always wins when there's a lot of complementing each other and helping each other reach their goals. So great stuff here. All right, this is by Jack the Rippler. Ripple spokesman confirms private XRP ledger for central bank digital currencies. We are prepared for endless use cases. XRPL DeFi is going to dominate the new economy. You wonder why I am so, I think he said bullish here, on top of DeFi token on XRPL CTF token. Imagine the top DeFi token sitting right now at 90 cents and with a market cap of only 10 billion. Token CTF would jump to $374 per token. Crazy, but what's more crazy is a total supply of only 120 million tokens. The reality is, if STF's token does exactly what Solana did the last bull cycle, keep in mind Solana has 600 million in total token supply. We would be at $1,500 per CTF token. This sounds crazy, but it's all about supply and demand. Now, short term, we could be talking massive gains. CTF token, trade link, whatever. I don't know. I've never heard CTF token. I've heard of it, but I've never invested in it, or because I don't want to invest in anything that I didn't do my research on. But we need to listen to this.
Public blockchain, which was built for payments and issuing currencies, so it's a natural fit for CBDCs. We've taken that and basically providing a private version of that for the central banks. Something that's going to be absolutely critical for the success of CBDCs and the adoption of them is the relationship between the public sector and the private sector. As I mentioned earlier, we view that the public sector, the central banks working with the government, will be the designers, the rule setters in terms of policy, and the implementers of the platform for the core capabilities around wholesale and retail CBDC, but that the use cases will come from the private sector. The list just goes on and on and on. There's literally endless potential use cases. So,
all right.
XRP ledger is.
Yep. Well, that's a great video right here. I'll let you guys have your thoughts on it, on opinions. All right, this is again by Versan. The XRPL bank grade custody feature is another step in Ripple consolidating financial infrastructure. It means XRP is boosting its liquidity by enabling XRPL based tokens, allowing banks and companies to tokenize and manage ROAs directly on the XRP ledger. All right, like I said, just stay tuned. There's a lot of things to cover here, according how banks and companies tokenizing and using Ripple XRP technologies. So Ripple expands custody business to offer bank grade service to crypto firms. The new features could allow companies to tokenize and manage real world assets as well as other cryptocurrencies on XRPL. Like I said, stay tuned. There's something pretty nice here. This is a surprise that fully and also confirms this post by Versan, and what we've always been saying, of course. Stay tuned. All right, this is Anderson. Perhaps not. It's one of the largest correspondent banks, so they might bail. Wouldn't be the first. Citi is, I think the Citibank, yep, is reviewing its digital asset custody agreement with Medico, which was acquired by Ripple for $250 million last month. That's according to Bloomberg report today. At the time of the buyout announcement, we reached out to a few Medico's banking clients to assess their reaction, but they declined to comment. So my input in this on this, I actually like. Of course, they keep things on a shush. You know what I mean? Not everything needs to be broadcasted as what they're doing behind the scenes, but we understand what they're doing. We know exactly how this is going. Like eventually, how we know exactly like a little bit of how things are gonna play out. But as we see, banks are adopting these technologies and they're not saying a word about it. All right, moving on. Subjective Views here had this out. If the United States never weaponized the dollar and SWIFT, a BRICS payment system would not even be necessary. The powers that be have a plan for you, and a little known American company with its native digital assets have a very big role to play. Take a listen.
And Yellen, they have both threatened to target Chinese banks as well. So you can see the big urgency Russia has to push for a new payment system. The details here are very important. It tells us what Putin is planning to do with this BRICS trading system. Firstly, this involves the Bank of Russia and the Russian Finance Ministry, and that means Elvira Nabiullina is involved. She's the head of Russia's central bank and a big reason why Moscow survived the sanctions. Why, despite fighting a war, Russia's economy has not overheated and collapsed. Her involvement is a big signal that Russia wants to get this system up and running as soon as possible. We could see a formal idea presented or discussions happening in Kazan very soon. The overarching plan is pretty simple. You develop a network of commercial banks that conduct transactions in local currencies. In other words, a multi-currency system. You also establish direct links between central banks. You need to do this to do currency swaps for trade. So if I have rupees and I need rubles, the central bank link takes care of that. In such a network, the only way possible for this to be feasible is to use the blockchain. What Russia wants is to create a big black box system, a gigantic box that ensures the G7 can't see all the transactions happening. After all, we all remember what Senator Marco Rubio said about dollars and sanctions.
Look, I think the bottom line is we're in a conflict. And I think we have to start talking about it that way. You know, a lot of time, most of the people are up here now don't remember. You know, I was very young, obviously, at the end of the Cold War, but it's been about 30 years since there was another superpower on the earth that was in conflict with the United States. And we are back in that place. And we need to stop pretending like that's not the case. Now, I hope it's never an armed conflict, but it's a conflict at every level you can imagine. Brazil, in our hemisphere, largest country in the Western Hemisphere south of us, cut a trade deal with China. They're going to, from now on, do trade in their own currencies, get right around the dollar. They're creating a secondary economy in the world, totally independent of the United States. We won't have to talk about sanctions in 5 years because there'll be so many countries transacting in currencies other than the dollar that we won't have the ability to sanction them.
So to prevent this, the blockchain has to be used. Russia is also proposing to take it further, to create a system where there's total trust without the risk of any country defaulting. And to do this, Russia is proposing a distributed ledger technology, or DLT, and this will help eliminate credit risk. Everyone will be in the loop and transactions will be recorded on each participant's end. And here's what this means. If Russia sells oil to China in RMB, the information won't just be recorded by Beijing or Moscow. A distributed ledger allows the record to be spread across the participants. So records in India and the UAE can help to verify that the transaction is done. It's important because it helps to build trust in the system. Russia and China will have to honor the oil for RMB deal, and there's no need for any other third party to verify. And this really helps to build much needed trust.
All right, so this is crazy to see how there's a lot of things to learn here. Of course, beautifully said, Russia, and of course the BRICS, just the BRICS, doing, and of course ahead in innovation than the West that we are currently at. And things are escalating, and we're seeing a lot of things that how everything's going to play out once the BRICS launch their CBDC. But yeah, great stuff. All right, so moving on here. I saw this one earlier by Good Morning Crypto. SEC versus Ripple XRP update. Ripple CEO explains the official status of XRP as a non-security, elaborating on the Judge Torres ruling and the tactics used by the SEC in court. Do you believe Ripple will come out victorious in the cross appeal? Of course, because this is all fucking bullshit and a fabricated story, and this whole SEC is bullshit. We already know. And the SEC also knows that this is the technology that America needs to adopt, and especially the whole world needs to adopt and use this blockchain technology, this digital asset, if you guys may say. But yeah, take a listen.
The SEC was arguing most vociferously. It was this idea that XRP, the digital asset that Ripple uses in our technology, was a security. And that was really what they cared about. And what the judge ruled is that XRP is not a security. And that's really been a formative case for the industry. So we're going to continue really clamoring and trying to champion the clarity of regulation. And I'm hopeful that as we see a changing of the guard, we'll see that.
Sorry, just to clarify, though, I mean, was the ruling, though, it did make a distinction between institutional investors and retail investors, did it not?
What it said actually is that just like if you package up real estate or you package up even pork bellies, if you put those into an investment contract, the investment contract is a security.
Gotcha.
But the ruling was very clear that no matter what, XRP in and of itself is not a security.
Brad, do you agree then with, okay, so the reason why in part that President Trump is pro-crypto is because he doesn't want China to be more crypto than the US. Is that actually like a material risk that China would surpass the US in terms of its crypto innovation?
Well, I can't speak to China specifically, but what we are seeing is whether it's the UK, Japan, Singapore, I mean, even the European Union, more than 24 countries have come together to create a framework to provide crypto regulation. They call it MiCA. And what's frustrating as a US company and someone who grew up here in the Midwest, it's frustrating that we as a country can't get that rules, the framework in place. And instead, we have this interminable litigation coming from the SEC that really isn't solving the problem.
We actually covered the MiCA project and the innovation they're saying about, especially the previous episode, the previous video we made. Covered MiCA. You can guys go and check it out. But yeah, as you guys can see, of course, the crypto innovation needs to be adopted. Things are really escalating. It's out there, honestly, and yeah, SEC's tactics is just bullshit, and they already know that XRP is got the green light here, right? All right, moving on. As by Versan, top economist Martin Armstrong warns the UN and IMF plan to replace the dollar with a new global currency, economic reset and civil unrest ahead when Trump wins. Yeah, of course, speaking of that, yeah, the election's going to play a big role for crypto, so we'll check about that out once the election time comes around. Curiously, the IMF and the World Bank parent group of the UN are working with Ripple XRP, of course. But here, let's take a listen.
Look, this is the way things, this is the agenda. This theory of a one world government has been around for a long time.
And a one world currency, I believe, too.
Yeah, I mean, look,
or payment system.
The IMF has already created its digital currency. They're keeping it, behind the drapery right now. But the pitch is that this will replace the dollar. Look, this is the way.
All right, I rest my case. All right, thanks for everybody who's staying tuned here. Of course, I need to cover this, which further confirms what Versan said here, that banks and companies to tokenize manage ROAs directly on the XRP ledger. So, breaking, the Amazon has confirmed a wide-scale partnership with Ripple Labs for XRP to be accepted as a method of payment. This is by Crypto Geeks News. As you guys can see, AWS partner profile Ripple. Let me just zoom in so you guys can see. RippleNet is the centralized global network of banks and payment providers using Ripple distributed financial technology, which provides real-time messaging, clearing, and settlement of financial transactions. Ripple connects banks, payment providers, digital asset exchanges, and corporates via RippleNet to provide one frictionless experience to send money globally. So I'll have you guys, if you guys want to pause and read this, and of course, X rapid source of demand liquidity. This is the important one right here too. X via sending global payments with a single integration. So yeah, X current process real-time payments. Yeah, Amazon Ripple shows right here exactly. All right, this concludes this video, guys. Thank you guys for watching. Of course, everything we're saying is not our asses. We keep, of course, confirming what we say. And I even confirm what even Versan says and Vendel says, especially what I also put out too. I confirm it even further, just so I don't show you guys I'm not a prop or a spoof or whatever you guys call me. But yeah, I just keep it real and I show you and I confirm with what I'm saying, because not everything I say is out of my ass. I have to confirm with everything I've been saying, and I've also cover on news here. But thank you guys for watching. Have a great night, have a great morning, whatever you guys are. So make sure you subscribe, like, and share. And if you guys want me to cover any other topics, I will gladly do so. But just make sure to take care of yourself, and peace.